attorneys now.
We should try to get into this business.
No kidding. No kidding. This we're going to we're not even going to have cameras in here anymore. We're just going to have one lawyer and give them Ethan Klein's Instagram.
Next, okay. Quick, is this clean pull-ups?
Today, 50 Heat body challenge today, 50 pull-ups, 100 push-ups. You try Heat body challenge today.
I mean, like, the answer is no. The actual answer is different people do different ranges of motion and different movements for different reasons. The actual answer is probably not, I guess. I mean, like, if you're doing a contest, then the correct form is whatever the judges say the correct form is, right? Like, there are some people who are hypercritical of, I think this happens a lot. I'm talking about my ass a little here. I think for the bench press, some will say you only have to touch your sternum. I don't know if in competition rules, does it ever have to be 90 degrees at the elbows? Bench press, hold on. Because some would get mad because some girls have an insane arch. I think some males had this too. It wasn't just women. The rules were changed in the comps, were they? Fuck, I'm not gonna be able to find this. Somebody, like, if you're short enough and you have like an insane arch, you can move the bar like an inch, and then it's a competition lift and it counts. And some people are getting really, really ass pained over this. But like, if you, if you're competing, then there's no virtue in making the lift harder. So whatever you do for it to count as a competition lift, you know. I'm not gonna be able to find these now. Fuck me, I don't care, whatever. It used to be bar to chest, now it's elbows below shoulder line. Oh, okay. In terms of pull-ups, like, I've heard people say that if you're trying to work out, you should almost always be at basically like a dead hang at the bottom. That if you're doing pull-ups from like here, like the bar should be under your chin when you're at your full range of motion here, and then you're supposed to come down like basically here. Some people will only go here because starting from like a dead hang is, I think, significantly harder than starting like already a little bit up.
Body challenge today.
So like, this is not even close to a hang at the bottom, right? It's also easier to do, is it pronation versus supination? It's easier to do, people will call these chin-ups versus pull-ups. I think the wider the grip, I think it could be a bit harder. So like, Hegseth is technically doing something different. He's also kicking his knees up here, which you could argue is cheating for a push-up, but for, what's it called, CrossFit, they might do them like this because they're doing a different type of lift or whatever, so. That shit wouldn't pass a military PT test. I think Marines are the only ones that do pull-ups now. Okay, yeah, I don't know.
You try to get under 5 minutes.
That depends, Destiny. Chin-ups utilize biceps more, but if your arms are weak, they might be harder. Maybe. I've never in my life heard ever that chin-ups will ever be, because you still use your biceps in a pull-up. They're just not like as a mechanically advantaged position, I think, as they are in a chin-up. So I've never in my life heard that a pull-up could ever be easier than a chin-up, close grip or wide grip or anything. So, but okay.
Double down. This is his playbook. Never apologize. Always double down. Always accuse your accusers of being hallucinating, crazy, etc.
True. CrossFit is the QAnon of fitness. I mean, like, it really just depends on what you're talking about, right? Like, fitness is the QAnon of fitness sometimes, right? Like, there's bro science at the gym. People do a lot of dumb shit sometimes at the gym that are just doing normal lifting. Like, I think you can probably do CrossFit. There are some CrossFit ways of training that are probably okay, right? Like, the human body has a high specificity to training. Is that what I'm thinking? The adaptations are specific to the way that you train them. So like if you train a lot at the gym, but you say you don't do like any cardio or whatever, like that might not translate in real life to being able to go out and be active and not run out of breath and to be able to have fun and shit. So arguably, depending on what kind of CrossFit you're doing, like doing stuff that's like a little bit more active or might incorporate other types of, no, you should do it safe as well. But yeah, like you can be an elitist thing about any particular type of working out, but I mean, like the reality is there's reasons for everything, and there's reasons to do anything. You can make anything stupid, and you can make almost anything work, right?
This is exactly his playbook. Since Hasan and many of his friends have employed this violent rhetoric against me and my family, me and Hila rarely leave our houses or make public appearances because of the constant and overwhelming sense of danger. The last 2 years, we've spent more time inside than ever before. And we stopped doing our biannual live shows, right, for over a year because of the fear of violence being enacted not just on us, but on our fans and our crew. This, by the way, is resulting in the crew directly losing money, as these live shows, we would donate the entire box office to the crew. And we did this twice a year. It was a significant source of revenue for them that's now been shut off out of fear. We've been forced to hire a full-time guard at the office because everyone in the office was feeling unsafe. And me and Hila are both waiting for our concealed carry license so that we can finally feel safe in public again, which is not easy to get in California, and it's going to take like over a year probably. And I usually choose not to talk about this stuff because the provocateurs who will revel in it, because this is their goal, right? They want me to be afraid. They want me to be in my house. They want me to avoid doing public events. They want me to cower. So this is very much giving them what they want. However, in this moment, I do feel the entire context of how language like this affects me and my family.
What's up with the lighting? This feels like one of those really edited like TikTok clips or something. There's like a filter they put on it. Like you can tell because almost the subs look like they almost have this filter on them, is my guess.
Family and my crew and everybody around me. Twitch has served as the most prolific source of leftist radicalization, terrorist propaganda, and anti-West sentiment. They foster, they elevate, they protect.
Oh, sharpening, excessive sharpening maybe. I've been told by a little guppy that this is what proper pull-ups look like.
Good afternoon. My name is Staff Sergeant Eckert. I will be teaching.
Jeez. Yeah, like, see this guy starting basically at a dead hang.
Good afternoon. My name is Staff Sergeant
This guy's going up, chin above the bar, and then he goes
Eckert. I will be
all the way, basically, arms almost fully extended. Like, it might not look like a lot, but I think this is like significantly harder than the RFK version, right? Like the difference might be somebody could do like 20 pull-ups of the RFK version and like 3 or 4 pull-ups of this version. I think this is, starting at the very bottom here, is significantly harder. Sometimes you'll see people who will use bands, like the big rubber, I don't know if you call them rubber bands, not the stretchy bands. And the reason why is because the stretchy bands provide more resistance the further extended they are, so they make the lift the easiest at the bottom here, and it helps them, come out of the bottom. I don't know why people use bands. I'm sure there's a variety of reasons why you could, but
I will be teaching you how to do more pull-ups in a few easy steps. Step number 1, and probably the most important step, is going to be getting into a semi-false grip. All that means is rotating our knuckles forward on the bar rather than gripping the bar with our fingers. This is a very weak position. This is a very strong position. It's going to allow you to use your forearm flexors. And if you've ever noticed yourself sliding out of it, that's why you get super fatigued, because you're just hanging on your fingers. So get into that semi-false grip, and then you'll start to feel it in your forearms. Step number 2 is going to be setting up the position. Once we're on the bar in that semi-false grip.
okay. An hour and 47 minutes? Hasan finally took my advice. Good job. It's taken him a while, but
2008, the U.S. has recklessly quadrupled the money supply, and the result is not just inflation, it's an entire generation getting battered by the financial system. Today's guest, Hasan Piker, is one of the biggest voices on the American left. He believes capitalism has failed young people, that greedy corporations and corrupt politicians are strangling their opportunities, and that government intervention is the only way to fix it. I see the root cause, and thus the solution set, very differently. And that's exactly why I wanted this. different reasons.
I think it's partially because money is fake, and we've just decided like, oh, it doesn't matter if Donald Trump decides to slap 150% tariffs on like all incoming goods. You'll have a week of instability, and then ultimately he'll turn around and say, actually, the tariffs are gone, and then the market will rally again, and will inevitably recover back to the point that it was at, and then he will turn around and say tariffs again. And after the 10th time he's done this, after months and months and months, you start noticing that these companies are like, okay, maybe it's not that significant. Maybe it's not that impactful. Maybe we can actually eat some of these costs, and that's the reason.
Stock market and like inflation and stuff are going to be I can't even think of an analogy. Like these things like kind of will sort of track each other a little bit, but it's going to be lagging, or it's going to be indicator, not a lagging indicator. What would you say? Like lagging versus predictive? It's going to depend on a lot of different factors here. I would be very careful. Why am I saying this? Like this guy has any idea what the fuck he's talking about. Sorry. If you're speaking to somebody knowledgeable, you'd be very careful in tying together like cost to the consumer of like goods and services to like stock prices, especially when things like tariffs happen, because there's a whole bunch of different things that companies and countries and consumers and individual firms can do to like mess around with prices when it comes to things like tariffs. Like for instance, we saw people stockpile a whole bunch of shit. You might have a weakening or strengthening of a currency relative to another country. Consumers might shift around their consumption, and that would put different pressures on different markets. Like
why you haven't seen the hyperinflation that was slated to come if companies were supposed to respond in the way that the market is normally supposed to respond to immediate tariffs like this, like broad universal tariffs like this. So and as far as like innovation goes, as far as Elon goes, I'm not a fan of Elon. He's not a fan of mine. He's cursed me out on his platform in the past. But I will say, you brought up innovation in the first.
God, he's so Arab.
For 66 years, going from the Wright brothers all the way to landing on the moon, right? And you said before Elon, we had no innovation in the space traveling sector. And there's some truth to that, but I think that's...
Hasan is doing the meme and saying tariffs don't matter. No, this is not what Hasan is doing. When Hasan says that tariffs don't matter, this is coming from his... from the more like a socialist ideology. And he's saying that prices at the end of the day are arbitrarily set by corporations to maximize profits for firms and for ultimately for the owner class. Hasan is saying that the prices don't matter that much because they just set them at whatever the fuck they want to exploit their workers and to exploit customers. That's why he says that.
And that is an inefficiency of the government. Because the first 66 years, big leaps were made by the government, by publicly funded research, by NASA. And it was always in a state of disrepair because it turned into political football. The only reason why we even went to the moon was because we wanted to flex on the USSR, who had actually beaten us to space, right? And therefore there was funding in the program. But as the Cold War took a turn and we decided that this was no longer as important, NASA funding was always on the docket to be cut, right? Instead of something that we focused on for the sake of advancing mankind. And my point always has been we shouldn't rely on we shouldn't wait for private industry to make up for these issues. We should have, especially fields that require innovation and requires failure, requires big technological leaps, like figuring out the internet, like inventing the internet or inventing space travel, things of that nature. Like that should be still heavily funded by the government.
Wait, am I retarded? Why wouldn't a company set the price of their product to maximize their profits? Well, when I say that, I'm sorry. Let me explain more. When he says that prices are set to maximize their profits, he's saying that like market forces and all of that aren't real, and that they're like every firm is colluding with everybody else to scam all their customers, and they could arbitrarily set like prices to be whatever they want it to be. Is what, yeah. This is unfortunate. This is even like a Kamala Harris talking point where she's saying all the price increases from corporations have just been them price gouging. I don't mean like anti-price gouging laws, and it's like I don't think that works this way.
The government heavily subsidized by the government and even controlled by the government. I have no issue with this. A lot of people, especially in America, get worried when they hear me say this kind of stuff. Same with housing. You can do major public housing initiatives and just completely explode the housing market in its entirety. And by that I mean explode the housing market as in like build free or incredibly affordable price-adjusted housing that the government owns. Many countries and many cities that have actually damn near eradicated the issue of homelessness have done so through public ownership over the land. This is a scary concept for a lot of Americans.
Who has eradicated homelessness? Which country is he talking about? He said many of them have. Which countries and cities have eradicated homelessness? Actually, I'm not. Cities are boring because you can just move people to another city.
But where are you talking about?
Singapore is a great
okay.
Great example is a country.
Okay, Singapore homeless rates. Jesus. 1,036 people. I feel like I need to learn more about Singapore because people bring this argument up sometimes for good or bad things. But I don't know enough about it. Like I know that Econoboy and somebody else were arguing over the extent of like how socialized their economy was, or whatever. Wait, what is the population of Singapore? Hold on. Singapore is literally the edgiest of edge cases. Yeah, everything about the way the country ran looked like pretty unique. That is basically eliminating homelessness, though. Damn, that kind of sucks. When you get down to a low enough homeless number, I wonder how shitty the homeless people feel. Like, imagine you're a country like 220 homeless people, and like you and a friend are homeless. You're like half a percentage point of the entire homeless population. It's a city-state. It's hard to map that onto a place that is 100% urban. Yeah, maybe, yeah. I wonder if there are any countries, larger examples of this. Because something that surprised me is I feel like I looked up, like Scandinavian countries, because I think Norway and Finland were doing some unique approaches to homelessness. But when I looked at the homeless numbers, I feel like they were actually comparable to the US, which was surprising to me. Homelessness per 10,000. So the US is at 19.5. Sweden is at 25.9. I wonder if they count it differently too, though. Norway's at 6.2. Okay, Norway's significantly different than Sweden. Finland's at 7.9. So there's like half the size of ours. The UK's at 56.1. Damn. France is at 48.7. Greece, Luxembourg, Latvia, Germany, all higher than the US. Huh. Yeah, I wonder if they count it the same or if there's like a different way to count it as well. I'm not sure.
China is another great example.
Singapore
obviously.
specifically privatized.
No, but Singapore still has like a government land lease program.
Yeah, but if you really research Lee Kuan Yew, he was, I use this word playfully, not literally, but he was a gangster. Like he said literally, I made sure the communists know I will fight you to the death. He went in and told unions, fucking knock it off, get to work.
But in terms of housing, in terms of like the way that
his whole thing was, I wanted private ownership. People had to know.
Tom, regardless of whether Tom reads like a book or has a conspiracy thing or whatever, like he'll have some reason for believing this. I think Hasan is just repeating talking points, though. I would be surprised if Hasan can meaningfully engage or even knows the person that Tom just brought up.
Fucking knock it off, get to work.
But in terms of housing, in terms of like the way that
his whole thing was, I wanted private ownership. People had to know that they were in on the economy because the only way to build an economy on capitalistic principles is to make sure that everybody's in on it.
Yeah.
Like Singapore is an incredible.
Yeah. Hasan has no idea.
Model for people that want a way out, but they often look at that and don't realize that this guy was like Captain Capitalism.
I'm not saying this guy was I never said that any of these countries, I guess China with the exception of China, are like even abiding by the principles of socialism or communism. That's not my
I don't know how China abides by the principles of socialism or communism. I'm not sure what he means exactly there, but I'm sure he'll get into it.
advocacy at all. The other example I was going to use is Austria, which again was led by obviously Red Vienna was led by people who are from that background, Marxist, socialist, communist, and
Red Vienna. Is it still that today?
whatever. But like Austria as a country is not a communist country and it's not a socialist country. And yet Vienna has, I think, 65% public housing. And these are fantastic houses. Like
That's a city. I mean,
it's just owned by the government. And then they have these lease programs. Every country has a different way of doing it. But I think ultimately government intervention of that sort is not something that I disagree with. I don't really care. They don't have to be like communists or socialists or whatever. I want to fix the problem. And I think one of the best ways to do that, or at least one of the most efficient ways that people have done that, is through this kind of intervention or direct control to a certain degree.
This kind of intervention is government owned?
Government owned intervention, like the land ownership concept goes back to the hands of the government, and you can get like in China, you can get a 100-year lease, right? And the government will always restore your lease. There's no problem there. But for this very reason, there is a lot more control over focusing on building inventory for future demand rather than holding inventory in the hands of people that want to keep that inventory limited so that their prices are constantly going up. So like you said, the only way that their net worth goes up is if this finite supply housing, if you're lucky enough to be able to purchase it or lucky enough to get a mortgage to purchase it, the finite supply of housing stays limited so that it's constantly going up, and therefore your leverage is more valuable, your nest egg is more valuable, and you understandably have this like perverse interest in maintaining the housing supply as low as possible. And the inverse of that, if you were to blow up the already limited housing supply and you were to actually explode and build so much housing, specifically government through government structure that exists for housing. So they make it into a speculative asset that is like impossible for its price to go down, pretty much, unless there are major market incidents like the 2008 housing market bubble.
Yes, but we have to like figure out why is it that it's so hard for these to go down in value. And the reason it's so hard for them to go down in value is the amount of money that's being printed causes assets to go up. And then,
Oh boy, back on that Federal Reserve grind.
your point earlier, if you have NIMBYism and people are not in my backyard, you're not going to build high density housing. And so
I love high density housing.
Of course. And so it's like, this is how you're going to have to drive down the cost of housing and make it affordable.
He says as he lives in a mansion in a single family home, residentially zoned area.
That's just a reality. So it's what I'm saying is people need to understand why that's happening. It is not happening because capitalism bad. It is happening because money printing bad. Now, money printing trade-off is probably the right way to say it. Money printing comes with advantages and it comes with wild disadvantages. And people are not mapping cause and effect well. And so we're getting into a situation where they don't realize that money printing is the problem. So going to the Democratic Socialist of America, is that what DSA stands for?
That's what DSA stands for.
Going to the DSA, it's like all of the things that they want are going to exacerbate those problems. And so this is where I'm like, hey, even if we can agree, I don't know that I agree with the DSA and where they're trying to end up. So it's probably worth me saying where I want to end up. And if you see yourself as a member of that or not, if you can help us understand what people that want that organization to thrive, what they're aimed at, that would be very useful. What I'm aimed at is people can save money and it's not stolen away from them through the hidden tax of inflation, that people can afford a home because it is an asset that they understand intuitively, that people can make a living wage through market dynamics, and that basically you're not stuck in your class. So there's high social mobility, your future isn't determined by your zip code. I round that to human flourishing, but those are like the specific things that I'm pointed at. Now, when I look at the DSA, they seem literally at wild odds with that, wanting to abolish the family, capture the means of production. Like it gets pretty wild. Now,
No, the first thing is funny. That's not abolishing the family is not a thing that the DSA is predisposed with. Everyone always says that, but they're
that's
not.
because there's clips I've watched with my own eyes where they say that. They had a whole like meeting about it.
I think I can't speak on the exact clips that you've seen, but there are people with wildly different opinions on things of
So
that
you would
nature.
say that's fringe,
Son can't respond with substance to anything. Oh my God.
even for them.
I would go so far as to say that like not only is it fringe, but it's also not like a real consequential policy driven focus of the Democratic Socialists of America. It's not a focus of the DSA at all.
Would you advise
And-
them against it?
Abolishing the family?
Yes.
Because it's not even like a legitimate point of contention. It's not even worth discussing. I will say it's usually, I think in my experience, the way that these things work is like people will have sometimes even like academic conversations in these sorts of settings about like what it means to have a family or like what's the traditional nuclear family or what its impact has looked like in society or whatever. And then someone will basically film like a piece of that conversation of someone being very sincere, but maybe being almost hysterical, right? And then they'll be like, look, this is so silly. The entire organization is predisposed with this. They're not. Especially when it comes to cultural things. Like there's no policy making about like family enforcement within the DSA whatsoever.
Okay, so walk me through then, because I'm looking at those clips and I am admittedly going, no, this is crazy. And from a Marxist standpoint of wanting to eliminate the family as an economic unit, which they echo that language, it does make me go, there are dots for them to connect. And I see how if they believe in a Marxist worldview that they end up there. You saw that play out in China. Like people really do enact these policies and it ends up being, from where I'm sitting, absolutely
Do you mean like the
devastating.
one-child policy or
No,
something?
no, I'm talking like Mao's China. Mao's China was the state is going to take care of you. All that matters is the state. You're not there for mom and dad. You are there for the state. And if you got to turn on mom and dad so we can beat them to death, then you better do it. And they would literally beat them to death.
I don't think the Cultural Revolution was good per se, but I also don't think that it was
Good per se, but I don't think it was as bad as the evil West makes it out to be.
because like the young people abolished the family unit
Quite
and
literally.
decided to beat on their parents because they were counter-revolutionary.
You're not going to get kids to turn in their parents if you don't break that unit. So anyway, if
I don't think that's
if
what
I'm
the DSA
deranged on that,
I
I'm
don't
willing
think
to accept
that's
that.
what the DSA wants.
So map out for me. My initial question is, hey, a lot of people are turning towards socialism. You're saying that's self-evident, and I'm saying these are the things that I believe about the socialist movement, and you're saying no, you're
the family stuff is utterly irrelevant. And also, these guys, there are so many different variants of how to implement socialism that exists under one umbrella, where they're broadly, I would say, anti-capitalist.
What is socialism? I can tell you what socialism isn't. Somebody linked this. Admittedly, I haven't. I heard this talking point about them wanting to abolish the family, but it sounded retarded. I never looked into it. But what is this?
And on that revolutionary horizon, want to perform abortions in a church, but before it's all said and done.
The only real difference between marriage and prostitution is the price and the duration of the contract.
We can fight for family abolition. We can
Jesus.
imagine family abolition because we have seen Black women do it, because we have seen these like indigenous communities do it.
But it is the institution of marriage can only exist alongside the criminalization of sex workers.
Children whose parents are unable to provide either housing, food, or safety are treated as if they have committed a crime. So kids themselves are treated as if they have committed a crime if they're not born into a family that can support them.
In addition to abolition of family policing, you argue for abolition of the family in general, and say that the institution of the family acts as part of the carceral system in the way that it reinforces children as property.
I think the left is constantly surprised at how few people.
What? Is this from 5 years ago, or why are they all still wearing masks?
People are, ready for revolt, despite, the extremely dire conditions that we are in that keep becoming more and more dire every day. Women and children are the most harmed by capitalism, but also women and children are the architects of their fate.
So when we talk about family abolition, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the abolition of that economic unit. For me, that liberatory horizon is to say it is a horizon in which kinship and care are, in which all of our material needs are taken care of by the collective.
Sex work, the criminalization of sex work is like the dark underbelly of the sanctified, reified, and legally enforced institution of exchanging your bodily autonomy and your sexuality for economic security. I don't think one can exist without the other.
Like, that sounds like some crazy radfem stuff, not necessarily some socialist stuff. But I'm sure that democratic socialists wouldn't push back on any of it. So, it probably originates from the idea that somebody in chat was saying it, the nuclear family is like a patriarchal institution that necessarily exploits the unpaid labor of the woman, and so this unit needs to be abolished or whatever. But they're not necessarily against male female marriage, children, things. It's just that economic unit is what they're opposed to.
But even then, there's still people who are social democrats, for example, not even democratic socialists, that play a role in this movement. They just want some kind of regulation over the most insane aspects of endless greed-backed capitalism. But things like abolishing the family is not a real point of contention or even remotely relevant. I think they care more about labor union organizing, implementing certain policies like Medicare
really
for all.
Labor. So let's take them one by one. So labor union organization. What's their end goal with that?
They want workers to have more power to collectively bargain directly at their place of business, and therefore create a network of pushback against capital owners when they implement certain policies.
Now, the data shows that union organization is far less impactful on somebody's economic gain than globalization. Globalization, where I as an entrepreneur can be like, nah, I'm just not going to do this in Michigan. I'm going to go do this in Tokyo or whatever, is the thing that erodes their power. So are people that are headed towards socialism, are they is that a big bone for them? Where it's listen, what we care about are worker wages, and unions are maybe part of it, but the reality is as long as we're importing cheap labor and we're exporting jobs, workers, blue collar workers for sure, are not going to have negotiating power.
Oh, no, I think this is something that a lot of people understand. There's, plenty of, all labor unions are pretty much trade protection.
What do you want?
Bro, why do you hate us socialists? Why do you hate us?
Because everything about it is cringe.
Wait, okay, wait. I'm sorry. You do understand that there's multiple socialists in the Alpha America tour, right?
Yeah, and I would say that's cringe. Yeah.
What? You do understand you're kind of pushing us away a little, maybe?
That's okay.
We're not all.
I probably push away Nazis too, right? What do you mean? That's fine. They're I don't align at all with socialists. I think they're anti-democratic. I think they're anti-liberal. Yeah. What do you mean? Of course.
Wait. So if I describe myself as a market socialist and I want fucking subsidies for worker cooperatives as a test policy, do you think that's super anti-liberal?
I don't think that has anything to do with socialism.
Really? You don't think market socialism's socialism? Do you think that's
no? I don't believe market socialism is a real thing. I think market socialism is what happens when a smart guy wants to be a socialist, but there's no way to make it work. So it's the compatibilism of ethics and determinism. It's oh well, what about market socialism, where I try to get rid of all the hard problems of socialism, but just have co-ops everywhere?
Well, what's your definition of socialism then?
At the very least, the means of production are exclusively employee-owned. There's no more private enterprise or investment by capital owners. I think that leads eventually to. Go ahead.
I just say the vast majority are socially owned.
Well, but would it turn into everything, right? How would it not?
No, it's not realistic. If somebody wants to start a business and they hire one employee, it wouldn't be realistic for us to force them to become a cooperative. That's just retarded.
Yeah, but nobody would. How could anybody start a business and hire one employee if there are subsidies specially made available for all cooperatives? You would always be non-competitive. You'd have to
say, okay, well, over this amount of employees, now you're now you're eligible for some sort of subsidies for cooperatives. I'm not going to make it so if you have 2 employees, you are eligible for cooperative subsidies. That doesn't sound smart whatsoever.
Sure, but why? Fundamentally, why are you giving subsidies to the cooperative?
I feel cooperatives can sometimes come to more ethical business making decisions.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be financially competitive, right? So you're making a subsidy available here so that they can compete or outcompete against privately owned businesses, right?
Yeah, well, I think the outcome I'm looking for is more ethical decision making for the workers.
How would it be more? How is it necessarily more ethical decision making?
Yeah, things that directly affect the workers in the business community. The workers are more likely to make ethical decisions around rather than somebody who may not be like directly affected. So, I think the classic example is if there is a company and they wanted to like dump toxic waste into a river because it was cheaper, and that was a private firm with like multiple franchisees, there or I guess there's multiple locations. There might be like, the board or the CEO might be more incentivized to dump the toxic waste into the river because they were not directly affected by the decrease in water quality. Well, if the people who worked in that factory owned it collectively, they would be very much less incentivized so because they literally live there. So
well, you're assuming they live there, but they could also just live somewhere else and work in the factory, right? Like today, we see real life examples of labor unions pushing against green energy because it threatens their fossil fuel jobs, right? So why couldn't the same thing happen?
No, I do. I definitely agree. Like when you have, I think one of the things that I don't have like a study on hand. I think one of the things we see is worker cooperatives sometimes tend to be like maybe even too resilient, and there's obviously labor has different interests than the capital owners. But I think in some situations, actually, I think there's quite a few situations where like overall we could see like more ethical decision making from worker cooperatives. And I think I'd be like, what if we did like a state or city trial where we tried out this program?
If somebody wants to try it out in a city or state, I don't necessarily oppose that. Sure.
Like if it didn't work, then we can just like not do it and not just be a capitalist. Like I don't see what's the problem.
But that's already my position. But if somebody wants to try, that's fine. I said the same thing with Memdani. I think the grocery store and the rent control ideas are stupid. But if he tries it, it either works and I change my opinion, or it doesn't work and I just have more data to point to say, oh, well, it doesn't work.
Okay, bro.
But this is like the fringiest of fringe of socialist beliefs. Like most socialist beliefs are going to be a lot more closer to the banning all private enterprise and doing other weird shit in society, depending on how core you get to the Hasan tier position.
Oh, how many people like is Hasan even that big anymore? Or well, I mean, he is big, but I don't feel like I don't feel like Hakeem and Second Thought or that community is like super large right now.
I feel like maybe not. The socialist community in general is not super large. It's always been kind of like a fringe, and it is still fringe today. But that's there's a different like the socialist feminists and like the class, but they all seem very fragmented and very purity testy and not very politically effective whatsoever. Yeah, I agree. Which is why we shouldn't identify as socialists or try to help grow their movements. We should just push our own movement or the liberal movement in a direction that I think comports more with like an ethical society.
But I don't think like the majority of these people are market socialists. I think that's very much different.
No, they're socialists, yeah.
So like, do you have a problem with market socialists, or you just think we're so retarded?
It's just like a thing that is impossible. It's unfalsifiable because nobody's ever really tried it before. So they can present themselves as kind of like this nirvana-ish thing that is like almost unassailable because there's no real life models of it. But then they also end up bringing a lot of baggage from the socialist types with them, and then socialist types can try to use them also to infiltrate movements. Like how people like Hasan say, "Oh, I'm just a sock dem. I just want better things for society." Like I would rather just a liberal be like, "Hey, maybe we should have like a special subsidy program for co-ops to see if we can run some of these." Like that works entirely under a capitalist liberal framework. You don't need any socialism to do that at all. So I don't know why we would bring all the baggage along with socialism.
Well, I mean, I guess it's like I guess it's just like a name for a system that like you'd want to try, right? I don't think you're like bringing a shit ton of baggage. I mean, people like as long as we're gatekeeping the word, there's no problem. Unless people like I don't think we should let any old person identify as a market socialist or sock them.
Well, but like right now we already have a system to describe that. We can just call it capitalism, and then if you want to have a subsidy for co-ops, that's it. That's all you need. It already works.
But like, if we're doing that subsidy, or like, if we're doing a subsidy for that program, that'd be like maybe a market socialist-ic program, possibly. Wouldn't you call it?
No,
no. Why not?
Because it's just because co-ops exist perfectly fine under capitalism. I don't need another framework to explain that program at all. Why would I adopt, or why would I say it's coming from a totally different framework when I can fully explain it within the framework I already have? Why would I incorporate like multiple economic modes to describe things that are happening just within like a capitalist economy?
Well, I mean, I feel like it would fit pretty like cleanly into my economic mode, but do you not think so?
Well, when
there's some contradiction I'm like not recognizing here.
Well, it's not, but your words like entail and bring along a whole bunch more baggage that don't exist in the current, I guess, like capitalist liberal framework.
I don't really feel like I see a lot of people bring a lot of baggage along with the word market socialist. I think that describes very like specific subsect of socialists with very, and they tend to be a lot more economically minded and focused. A lot of them tend to like identify as Keynesian kind of type economics. I don't see them being like completely like economically retarded.
What if I call? Would you have any problem if I called myself a non-interventionalist, multi-ethnic Nazi? So like I want to do everything I can to, why? If I want to do everything I can to strengthen the state as it exists right now, even if that means commandeering some private corporations for the purposes of producing things for the betterment of my citizens, I'm like very nationalistically focused, but I don't have like a particular ethnicity. The ethnicity I focus on is just the American ethnicity. Like, so we get rid of the racial aspects and we get rid of the hardcore imperialistic aspects. Like, what could I just call myself a non-interventionalist, multi-ethnic Nazi?
I don't think that the word Nazi there means like something very specific.
Yeah, so does socialist. Usually means the abolition of capital, right?
I don't think. I disagree. I don't think socialism means the abolition of capital.
What does socialism mean? To me, socialism means like socially owned, as in like workers' own means of production, which means like the abolition of capital owners. Sorry, not abolition of capital. I mean abolition of capital owners.
The workers can be the capital owners, correct?
Kind of. Well, I mean, if you cooperatively own it, kind of, but.
Yeah, they are. They're still capital.
That's what I just said. I don't mean the abolition of capital. I'm sorry, I mean the abolition of capital owners. Or I'm sorry, the abolition of owners is what I should say.
The abolition of owners. Okay, but I would just say the workers in general are the owners. So like the workers of the business would be.
That's fine, but Marx draws a distinction, and every other socialist in the world draws a distinction between owner and laborer. Right? Owners are the people that make money off of the exploitation of labor. In a cooperatively owned model, you can say that the laborers are also owners, sure, but the distinction that's classically drawn is between an owner and a worker. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think we still have these like capitalist terms, or like generally work within kind of like a capitalist system, but then like still call this socialism. But
do you think in the United States, do you think that a socialist or a Democrat would be more likely to agree with your market socialist framework? Assuming it wasn't like one step to moving to something more extreme, but like that was like the final.
Seeing as I just got banned from Market Socialist Discord server, probably a Democrat.
Why'd you get banned from the Market Socialist Discord server?
They said I wasn't socialist enough.
Okay, well. Okay, I'm gonna go watch Hasan's slot.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Like that's part of the reason why even the UAW. Despite its anti-Trump position, was looking at the initial tariffs conversations and saying, like, hold on, we're not going to immediately attack Donald Trump for this because, on principle, this is something that is, if done correctly, could be very helpful to the auto manufacturing business, the automobile industry. Of course, given the way that we've designed the automobile industry, especially with like some of the free trade negotiations that we've built with Canada and Mexico that Trump also implemented, even though he came in as an anti-NAFTA force initially, there is no way to. There's no way to do trade protectionism that doesn't actually eradicate certain parts of the manufacturing base in this country and still ultimately be harmful to the UAW. But going back to the DSA or labor unions, you're right. Displacing labor is the primary function of capital. They want to displace labor because that is efficient. If you have technological improvements that allow you to, for example, do the work of 10 people now.
They don't want to displace labor. They have an antagonistic relationship with labor, I guess, is true.
With one person, then what I would say should be done is to make that never fire the 9 other employees, but instead make all 10 of those employees do a tenth of the work that they have to do, like a tenth of the direct labor that they have to do when their output remains the same. To make that never fire the 9 other employees, but instead make all 10 of those employees do a tenth of the work that they have to do, like a tenth of the direct labor that they have to do.
Then how do you compete with another firm who just hires one employee to do all that work and now is selling the product for half the cost?
Their output remains the same. A boss looks at that situation and goes, oh, that means we can fire 9 workers and make 1 worker do the work of 10. And labor is obviously the most malleable aspect of commodity production, and therefore it's the one that bosses are constantly looking to depress the wages on or to outsource to the global south, where it's a much cheaper alternative. Labor unions play a formative role in ensuring that that transition does not harm the existing domestic manufacturing base of labor to the best of their ability. They either create better exit packages that take away from CEO pay or whatever that will allow these people to transition into other sectors easier, or they retain pensions, or ultimately in places where they do exist, where there is continued output at the domestic front, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, labor unions are responsible for increasing people's wages by 10% in areas where they unionize. And they even have a capacity to increase wages for the non-unionized parts of the same sector in the...
Okay, I'm good on this.
And tired of it. I'm sick and tired of it. Left wingers, liberals, you need to be
old Hasan clip.
Fucking showing your opponent's guts on there, okay? You need to be gutting them. You need to be shanking these motherfuckers and letting their intestines just ride on stage. What the fuck is this shit, man?
What is it? What is this from?
Slice them up. Slice them and fucking dice them. What the fuck is this? You cannot have a bigger fucking layup. You could not have had a bigger fucking layup than a horrible candidate like Herschel Walker. Sure, he was prepared very well. And Herschel Walker actually had a good... I'm sick and tired.
Okay.
I'm showing you right now. This illegal, okay? It's just like it's just so it's so funny that like all of the people who think the peak of comedy is like saying the N-word will unironically look at stuff like this and to this day still go, this person wanted to assassinate a sitting senator. He did a death threat to a sitting senator.
How is that even remotely connected? What? People think the peak of comedy is saying the N-word, get mad at assassination attempts. Like, even if that was true, it's not even a contradictory position. Like, couldn't you think the funniest form of comedy is the N-word and then get mad at somebody for tweeting assassination memes at people? Like, what? It's not even... What?
Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. What do you mean? Why are you fucking concern trolling? Shut the fuck up. What? I'm showing...
Sorry. Okay. Damn, we got a lot of Hasan in here today. Is Dan doing these now?
A lot of people in this realm... A lot of people in the content sphere love talking big shit, okay? Ask them what their position is on Donald Trump. XQC and Aiden Ross literally promoted Donald Trump, okay? Ask them what their position is on Israel-Palestine. Ask them what their position is on free healthcare. You know what I mean?
This was such a stupid pivot on the donation time. Like, that's who your competition is politically right now, is Aiden Ross and XQC?
Any number of different things. Ask them how they...
Like, do you think XQC even cares that much?
...feel now, 8 months in, after they promoted Donald Trump. Why won't they say anything?
Okay. Donald Trump is a liar, and he's kind of a scumbag, and a lot of his shit isn't panning out. 1, 2, free healthcare for all. 3, free Palestine. What about it? Anything else?
Okay.
Why won't they say anything?
I don't think XQC or Aiden care. Their egos are not anywhere near as wrapped up in this as yours is, or mine is, or Asmongold's is. These aren't like, they're not like hardcore political comedies. Well, maybe XQC is getting more in that direction. I don't know. But... Oh, is this the...
So I realized he blocked me on Instagram, and I was like, really?
What?
Why is he blocking me when I never say anything bad? I guess he just blocked everyone who like came out like with frustration towards him and Anissa and blocked me. But I don't think Anissa blocked me because I still see her stories appearing in front of me on Instagram. But then I told Harley, and Harley was like, oh, he blocked me on everything, like all social media. He blocked Harley. But Harley was a little more vocal and a little more insulting. That's like Harley's thing. I feel like I was like, this is really weird that he actually blocked me.
Is this the boxing coach guy? No. Nathan, aka Dad, reveals that. Or was this one of the boxers? I don't remember.
Maybe he
says.
did it when I called him out. Anyway, I would like to box him because it would be a good match. Because we're the same height, same weight, same experience.
What? Kai skin before speed? Wait, does Kai not even play Fortnite? Only for an event? Nathan Dad EU was a boxer who had won a few matches in Creator Clash. Okay. Damn. Speed trailer.
Damn! Got up, man! Bro, where's we at? Bro, chat, can somebody please pick me up? I don't know where I'm at.
Hey, you sure you're at the right spot?
I'm trying to travel across the whole America and my tour bus is broken.
We can help you with that.
That incredibly fucking awkward feeling when Speed is probably going to have less people calling him the N-word or doing racial things against him in the deep south than you had in fucking half the countries in Europe he traveled to. Oh no.
U.S. side.
Brother Malzone. What a cool dude. Okay, stop. She might have other stuff. We'll watch this.
Amphetamines can drive you through brutal work.
It's meth time, boys.
Amphetamines can drive you through brutal work shifts, push you through boring study sessions, or keep you dancing till dawn. They fuel ambitions and sharpen minds. We've given them to soldiers to fight harder and to children to help them focus. Today, millions of brains are running faster than evolution had ever planned.
Oh shit. Hold on, I just fucking ADHD'd out. Wait. Somebody said there was a meme. In the comments? Wait, what is this? No wonder he's been offline for a month. Was that what I was supposed to read? Okay, good one.
In the last 15 years, amphetamines have become one of the fastest growing drug markets in the world, second only to cannabis. Like any drug, amphetamines can be used to escape react markets and...
Wait, what is this? What does this mean? Oh, 100 is in you start off at like percentage of people. So in 2020, twice as many people are using amphetamines as in 2010. And that's what this is measuring, right?
In the world, second only to cannabis.
Damn. Wait, is this? No, there's no way this is accurate. Or I can't be reading that correctly. Like three times as many people have been using. see links posted in chat. You don't need to fucking ape hands people. Jesus.
Like any drug, amphetamines can be used to escape reality. But unlike any other, they promise to help us master our modern world. What makes them so appealing? And what happens to your body once you take them? Supercharging your brain. Almost everything humans do relies on focus and motivation. Whether you're working, playing, studying, creating, working out, partying, or fighting, you need to push through exhaustion, silence distractions, and stay in sync. Amphetamines are stimulants and do just this extremely well. They come in 3 main types: plain amphetamine, methamphetamine, and MDMA. Meth is an extremely potent and addictive.
The description. What? No, not this video. Oh my god, kill yourself. Okay.
Amphetamine, methamphetamine, and MDMA. Meth is an extremely potent and addictive version, and MDMA or ecstasy has some quite unique effects, but today we'll focus on plain amphetamine, sold on the street as speed or as prescription drugs like Adderall or Vyvanse. The main effect of amphetamines is to trick your brain to massively increase the levels of dopamine and noradrenaline.
Wait, we did that thing on chirality yesterday, and I just realized, for Adderall, isn't it, fuck, I forget what the two are called. It's dextro and there's a name for the other one. Aren't they just 2 chiral mirrors of the same thing? So our body can produce, or can, consume some chiral thing or whatever. Dextro means right-handed. What's the one that means left-handed? What's the left-handed one called? Oh, it's levoamphetamine. Okay. No. Wait. Wait, yes. Maybe? So it's levo and dextro? Levo is left and dextro is right? Okay.
Dopamine is the chemical of motivation and excitement, like the rush when you're about to beat that impossible boss in a Souls game. Noradrenaline makes your mind awake, focused, alert, and sharp, able to precisely and quickly move your fingers to perform the combo that destroys the boss.
Based. Okay, here's the source for that graph. Trends in the use of selected drug groups based on qualitative assessment. Responses on the annual report questionnaire. Oh, sorry. This is the thing for this video. I gotcha. Cute.
Dopamine says, yes, this matters, and noradrenaline gives you the tools to make it happen. On amphetamines, you aren't simply excited, but plugged into a hidden power source. You can quickly absorb and react to everything around you. Your attention is locked in the moment. In the best case, you enter a state of flow easily. Your mood is lifted and boring tasks seem more engaging. Distractions
He's in the flow state.
Become less distracting in the face of your goals. Your
Listex, stop. The Listex amphetamine the list is for lysine. There's nothing to do with left or right. This is a different thing.
Heart
Stop.
pounds faster, your breath quickens, and sweat beads on your skin. Hunger fades, and fatigue dissolves. Other stimulants like cocaine peak or fade quickly, maybe crashing you and leaving you more tired than before, but amphetamines lift you up and hold you there for 4 to 14 hours. Back in the day, amphetamines used to be prescribed for all kinds of problems, to lose weight, fix your depression, or against nasal congestion. Nowadays, they're mainly prescribed for ADHD, a mental disorder that makes it hard to concentrate on things you find boring, and to control ADHD, a mental disorder that makes it hard to concentrate on things you find
I thought you did both those songs at once. Damn.
boring, and to control your impulses. ADHD brains are basically looking for a reward that never comes. Amphetamines solve this by providing this reward, turning a super easily distracted scatterbrain into a focused one. In the last decades, ADHD diagnoses in kids and adults in the US have skyrocketed, leading to an unprecedented amount of prescription amphetamines.
That's because they don't eat enough all-meat diets like Jordan Peterson.
But amphetamines aren't just drugs, they're tools. Performance-enhancing tools perfectly aligned with our most mainstream ambitions. And if they manage to keep you awake and focused better than coffee or energy drinks, why not get your daily performance boost with a dose of amphetamines? They're made in labs, prescribed by doctors, and safely taken by millions after all. So their legal and illegal use has surged in many workplaces, particularly in very stressful or highly competitive industries that require long hours and intense focus. From tech to finance pros, from cooks or truck drivers to surgeons or nurses. In the US alone, more than 4 million people illegally use prescription stimulants. Especially college students have started to rely on them more and more, not to party, but to push for better grades. Concentrating and studying are hard enough on their own, but even more so in times where short-form videos and endless scrolling have nuked our attention spans. Some believe they have undiagnosed ADHD, that their struggle to concentrate is a flaw that needs chemical fixing, or they simply want an easy edge to achieve more. Imagine you're cramming for finals. Someone offers you a pill and the fog in your brain lifts. 8 hours vanish in a hyper-focused blur. Should you take another one tomorrow? This is starting to sound like a commercial. But the frank reality is that amphetamines promise an easy fix to things that many of us struggle with. But of course, nothing good in life comes for free. Speed crash.
Is that the Matrix guy?
The dark side of amphetamines comes in 2 flavors: unpleasant side effects and serious health risks. The least negative bad experience may be that amphetamines work, just not for the right thing. Instead of finally writing the paper that's due tomorrow, you hyper-focus on grinding your game, and then the day's over. Congrats on the new item, but you'll still fail your class. More serious is that noradrenaline puts your body into fight or flight mode, which can make you feel nervous, tense, and on edge. Your heart beats faster and your breaths are shorter, which is exactly how your body feels when you experience anxiety or panic. Suddenly, you feel extremely worried or can't stop ruminating. If you're already pretty stressed or anxious, this can worsen your anxiety or even lead to a full-blown panic attack. On the other hand, your motivation can overshoot. Your patience shrinks to almost zero, and you can feel wired and very annoyed at people because they speak and think too slowly, making you jittery and pretty unpleasant to others. Amphetamine
Holy shit, he's the whiplash guy.
also makes you numb towards the needs of your body, so it's easy to forget that you need to drink, eat, and sleep. You may suddenly realize that you're totally dehydrated, tired, and shaky after neglecting your body's needs for hours and hours. And while amphetamines lengthen the time you can stay awake and be productive, if you took them too late in the day or too much, it may just be impossible to get to sleep as your mind can't stop racing, making you exhausted the next day, tempting you to solve the problem with another dose. If you take too much, all the enhancing effects can reverse, leaving you nervous, restless, obsessively overthinking, or outright unable to focus on anything. Some prescription amphetamines like Vyvanse stay active in your system for up to 14 hours, so if you have a bad trip, you may have to wait it out. And the come down can also be pretty hard.
Did you say bad trip?
After hours of being bathed in dopamine and noradrenaline, their levels drop suddenly. You may feel extreme fatigue. Your mood can crash, leaving you feeling low energy and depressed. You may experience a fresh boost of anxiety as your brain tries to rebalance itself. And of course, there's addiction. First of all, constant artificial dopamine highs can totally disrupt your emotional baseline. Swinging from euphoric and super focused and driven to stressed and tired is pretty unpleasant. If you take amphetamines regularly, you build a tolerance, needing higher doses to achieve the same effects, which raises the risk for all the negative effects.
This is what happened with Nick and Molina.
Maybe at the beginning, amphetamines were the solution to finally do your homework, but after a while, you just feel completely unable to study or work at all without the boost they give you. It can be hard to get back to your normal baseline afterwards. Okay, not ideal, but can amphetamines destroy your life? Well, maybe. Definitely your brain and heart. The flood of chemicals that boosts your brain can overwhelm it, mixing...
How much are you taking? I've been taking Vyvanse 60 milligrams for the past year and a half, I guess, since the end of beginning of 2024.
Noise and signal and turning clarity into chaos, leading to psychosis. You can no longer tell for sure what's real and what's not. Typical symptoms are bizarre thoughts, hallucinations, and paranoia. In most cases, they fade once the drug wears off, but sometimes they stay for months, and for a minority of people, they can evolve into full-fledged schizophrenia, changing your life forever. Amphetamines speed up your heart, and over time, even mild increases in blood pressure can damage vessel walls, causing them to thicken, narrow, and lose elasticity, which forces your heart to work harder. If you use them long term, this can lead to serious complications like cardiac arrest or irregular heartbeat. And in high enough doses, especially mixed with other stimulants like cocaine, amphetamines can trigger heart attacks, tear open major arteries, or burst blood vessels in your brain, leading to strokes, even in young people. How likely is this to happen? Today, it seems that low-dose prescription use over the short term for ADHD is relatively low risk, while chronic and especially heavy use in healthy people is probably harmful. If you want our opinion after our research, amphetamines are a huge grey zone. A part of society runs on speed because it wants to work more, be more focused, faster, and longer. For some people, they're an effective way to treat a real underlying condition. For some, they're a great health risk. Without medical guidance and proper care, amphetamines can turn you into a terribly on-edge, anxious, and unpleasant version of yourself. They are an easy but also a short-term fix, and probably not a sustainable...
I don't know if you're being prescribed generic Vyvanse and actual Vyvanse. What, you just read the pill? No? What do you mean?
long-term solution if you do not have an underlying condition. You can brute force your mind and body to do what you want them to right now, but amphetamines are not helping you to acquire better habits or to grow and become a better version of yourself. But we're not the health police. You do you. But hopefully, you do so as informed and responsibly as possible. Luckily, there are other ways to supercharge your mind and become a sharper version of yourself. Our favorite way to do this by far is with Brilliant.
What?
Brilliant helps you become a better thinker and problem solver with thousands of visual interactive lessons in maths, science, programming, data analysis, and AI. Each lesson on Brilliant is designed to activate your mind, letting you learn through hands-on discovery, not memorization. It's a uniquely effective way to build real knowledge and give your problem-solving skills a serious boost. Whatever you're learning.
I always wonder, how real is all of this in terms of risk, or is this just the new dare scare tactics? Most of the risk associated with any medication is generally going to be revolving around the abuse of it. So I think usually you try to measure the risk or talk about the risk in terms of like what are the chances of people abusing it. I think this is why doctors tend to prefer like long release stuff versus short release instant kick and stuff. It's easier to abuse that. But the long-term effects of any like therapeutically safe amphetamine is pretty minimal, I think, from what I've seen.
Learning goal, Brilliant will help you reach it, from mastering the foundations of maths to tackling concepts in advanced topics like calculus, quantum computing, and beyond. They'll start you at the right level and ramp you up step by step with personalized recommendations for what to learn next. Brilliant's ever-expanding library of courses and topics means you'll never run.
My bottle is called Listex Amphetamine, but I don't know if this is Vyvanse. Wouldn't the bottle be called Vyvanse? I feel like it would say Vyvanse on the bottle, I think. Hold on, well, now you're making me wonder. My bottle says Vyvanse. If it just says Listex Amphetamine, that might be a generic. But I mean, theoretically, the generic should have basically the same effect, so.
Run out of ideas to explore, and along the way you'll build a mind equipped to solve bigger and more complex problems. Learning a little on Brilliant each day, there's no telling what you'll be able to accomplish. To learn for free on Brilliant, go to brilliant.org/nutshell, scan the QR code on screen, or click on the link in the description. Brilliant's also given our viewers 20% off an annual premium subscription, which gives you unlimited daily access to everything on Brilliant. You could save humanity from an alien invasion. This is the Alien Alert Pin. It will light up if aliens are approaching Earth. Welcome to your mission briefing. Listen closely. This message will self-destruct in 30 seconds. Attach the pin to your jacket or backpack.
Damn, we're really
pack and keep an eye on the light at all times.
Pushing them sponsors.
Depend on you. The Alien Alert Pin is available only until August the 22nd. Then it vanishes forever. While you're
Did you make you do an EKG on a treadmill? No, that sounds like a pre-existing heart condition thing.
Looking up for your mission, check out some other cosmic supplies like posters and epic desk essentials. While every item you buy might save humanity, it will definitely support Kurzgesagt and help us to release our videos for free for everyone. Mission locked. Briefing complete.
Do you think really old people should take amphetamines or steroids? I don't know. It's up to their doctor to figure out. If you've made it to a really old age, I don't know if there's much of a point of starting treatment for ADHD at that point. For steroids, I think hormone therapies, have a lot of benefits for older people now. Women for like some HRT stuff, and then for men, I don't know why they call it TRT instead of HRT. But I think for older people, I feel like the outcomes are all pretty positive for that stuff. Okay.
Yeah, right. Me personally, I don't say free Palestine. I say nuke them both. Yeah, just get them out. Yeah, it's called a day, man. They're never going to agree. Oh man, I don't want free internet good boy points yet, so I'm not redeeming in my free Palestine card. What the fuck, Techie? You want to nuke me? Yep, specifically you, man. Specifically you. Better yet, nuke every country on this earth that's not the United States. Bada bing, bada boom. And then take the bottom 5% of the United States, hang them all. And then all of a sudden, the world's a great place. You saw what happened with Japan. Hey, we nuked them and they became kawaii. Imagine how much more anime we'd have if we just fucking nuked everybody, bro.
Okay. Based. How Democrats greet each other in Trump's third term.
How's the wagon see him? Son of a... Get out of the car! Out of the car! All right, easy there, big guy. Hold it down! Hold it down! Hold it down! out. Are you one of them? No, are you? No. You could be lying. So can you. All right, all right. What's going on with everybody? I don't know.
What is this? What movie is this? Is it some alien movie? Destiny, I take Desoxin for ADHD, and yeah, it has a black box warning for addiction potential. Oh, supernatural. Doctors prefer Vyvanse because of the prodrug. First of all, congratulations on your fucking meth prescription. I think, I don't know why, because I just don't know enough about it biologically, but apparently the methyl, because it's meth stands for a methyl group for methamphetamine. Apparently that methyl group allows it to bypass the blood-brain barrier like very effectively. So I think if you take, even through ingestion, because you take a pill for Desoxin, right? I think that methamphetamine will get to your brain much quicker, which if you're trying to abuse a drug is generally considered better than like Vyvanse or Adderall XR takes a longer time to ramp up in the body. Although you could still get addicted to that and abuse that too, okay? Don't ever let a drug's release mechanism slow you down from chasing your wonderful highs, all right? Every single time I visit Europe, my credit cards get hacked. So annoying. Hope they enjoy the $10,000 worth of jewelry that my bank bought for them. What? Okay. Can you tell us about your experience finding the right medication and dosage? Yeah. Cherry was visiting, and in between our top... I'm just kidding. Let me try Adderall. It worked perfectly. I found basically the equivalent dose of Vyvanse. Got on that, and I've been there for like a year and a half. Life is good.
Are you familiar with Destiny? Do you know that guy?
Second reply. Yo at Chase. Bro, you gotta do tap to pay over there. It's so much better. That's safer than the physical card. Oh, okay, thanks. Thank you, Hamstrock, for having me come back and read this. Amazing, thank you. Did somebody say Destiny?
Yeah, I know of it. Liberalism. This is an update to centrism. Are you familiar with Destiny? Do you know that guy? Yeah, I know of him. Yeah, so he's a streamer. He'll say stuff like, you know, he'll fight Hasan with equal intensity as he will fight someone like Donald Trump. Because the way he sees it, there's like a far left and there's a far right, and they both hate liberal democracy. 10, 15 years ago, if there was a fact...
Why is... I feel like... I've said this before watching J-Rig's serious videos. I feel like he has like a good understanding of like the political spheres and scenes and understands. I feel like he has a good. Was that really that hard to say? How he figured that out? Or I mean, I just say it, I guess, right? Yeah, both these people oppose liberalism. That's what. Okay, good job.
Fascist or a communist saying, I'm going to overthrow the government. The liberals wouldn't even talk to those people. Like, it's not important. It's not like that poses any real threat. No one believes that. It's outside the Overton window. Now, because the Overton window has sort of drifted to the left and the right.
This is the center-left/right coalition that formed in Germany.
They have to engage
Destiny
with
is so
this, and they have
stupid.
to be like, oh shit, there's a lot of like threats to liberalism right now. We're surrounded
Destiny's
by
based.
enemies
Chat's
on the
gonna get
left and the
several.
right. We have no choice but to sort of react to the extremism that we're
Liberals always side with fascists.
seeing in order to create a world where we can kind of go back to normal or whatever. And so it's a lot more conscious. Like before you'd be like, shut up, that's just the way things are. Now you have to justify why things are the way they are. And actually, I would probably argue that that is a good thing.
Destiny's an Israel supporter.
Like we shouldn't just take for
Yeah, it
granted
doesn't seem
that
bad.
all the ways. Yeah, I mean,
The Nazi sucker base.
we shouldn't take for granted that all the ways that we've been doing
And clearly both extremes are equally bad.
things before are the ways that we should still be doing things. We can't just like wave our hands away and be like, no, there's actually no problems right now. Because there's all kinds of problems.
and they're getting
the
worse.
left and the
I
right-
agree, yeah.
They're getting worse, and the left and the right are both pointing to very real problems that people are having. And so I think this has been a good development for liberals and centrists. I think that like having to explain the way why the way things are the way they are. Like I think a lot of the reason extremism thrives is because no one explained to them why we do things, and so it just seems like this completely like insane. Like what are we
Arbitrary.
doing? Like this guy. Yeah, it feels very arbitrary. Yeah, and you know I think that this is a good development, in my opinion, because even if liberal centrism survives the next 15 years, even if we are still, a mostly middle-class, consumer-based society, I think that because there's these threats to liberalism, almost like a virus or something, it's going to have to fight it off.
Liberals are showing what they think. Look at the Democratic Party. They are doing nothing while Trump's just wiping his ass with laws. God, these people are so fucking cringe. I wonder and now the thing is, I wonder how cringe the chats are going to start to go as Asmongold solidifies his position in Twitch over Hasan.
And it's like the liberalism of 15 years from now is going to have to be different because something has to change. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a big extreme uprising where a bunch of people die, but it might be like, hey, I don't know, like we do a UBI, we do land value tax. There's lots of like radical centrist ideas that might have to emerge.
Yeah,
maybe we make taxes easier. Like,
yeah, okay, then I am in this group. Like very much exactly. Yeah, that's how I see it. So.
Oh, based.
But I just think maybe it's a little hopeful. Maybe I'm being the doomer here, but I find that to be, I think when trend lines start moving in a direction, it's hard to stop it without a bigger event. So, hey, we'll see. But I think I got the fair point. And I think the way you pointed this out was this one made me laugh because I found it to be, it's true. It's like 10, 20 years ago, the most bitter enemy of the center right was the center left, and vice versa. And now they have
this guy sucks.
They have to like handshake on 90% of things because they're fighting the larger polarization around them. Like someone would be, compared to a Donald Trump, most people would take a Mitt Romney.
Is it going to change that much? Like Hasan will exert control. No, Hasan has no control. I don't think Hasan has any control over Atrioc or any of the people on Atrioc's show, right? None of them share a podcast with him. Ludwig, I think, is bowed out of covering any drama-related stuff. And now sponsors are turning down Hasan showing up at events. So Atrioc and the people in his circle, I guess, or on his show are not the same fleshlights that Ludwig was willing to be for Hasan. So I don't think Hasan really has any levers that he can pull anymore to kind of rally Twitch people on his side. Like OTK and everybody else, I think, have kind of bailed out of the hardcore, the same clout scene that Hasan was able to exercise so much control over. Why is Atriox chat so cucked then? Well, I think if you weren't far right captured, you kind of got far left captured. And there were just so many weird things. Like if you haven't watched any of my content directly and you've only heard about me from somebody else, you have almost for sure heard the most unhinged shit imaginable. So from Nazis, you'll hear that I'm like a race mixing, open borders, cock that wants to destroy the entire United States. Or from Red Pillars, you'll hear that I hate men and I want women to fucking whatever. It's always the most unhinged caricature versions of from Hasan people. It's going to be that I'm a fucking neo-Nazi who sucks and fucks his way through Nazis, and it's all unhinged shit. So if Atriox chat, I don't think Atriox covers any of my content directly. So anything that his chat has heard about me is probably going to be unhinged. The only exception to that as of recently is the H3H3 crowd, which I'm going to be honest, feels kind of weird looking at another community and they're not all instantaneously fucking unhinged and hateful. Kind of feels nice to see somebody else attacking Hasan, and it doesn't have to just be me and my community and my rhetoric and my tweets and my everything else all the time, Feels good, man.
Because they're fighting the larger polarization around them. Like someone would be, compared to a Donald Trump, most people would take a Mitt Romney in this group. They would be like, but before they would have bitterly fought Mitt Romney to death. The idea is
exactly.
Yeah.
There's an older clip of A-Track, but this perfectly sums up exactly what you said. Oh, I remember this a long time ago.
To be honest, I didn't know that much about Destiny. I have had probably the wrong impression of Destiny before this. All I knew about Destiny prior to seeing this was that he did the thing where he refused to not say the N-word, which is all that I've known. In my mind,
he's probably heard this either directly from Hasan or through other Hasan fleshlights like Ludwig or anybody else, right?
I thought Destiny was alt-right before this. I swear to God, that's what I thought. I didn't know. I'm out of it. Again, I don't follow politics and American stuff. I don't look at debate lords. I don't know any of this. I thought he was openly alt-right, but he's not. And I also give credit where credit is due. Some of the arguments he made, specifically about Jan 6th and a couple other things, I found to be very compelling. They actually changed my views. I think they were pretty solid. I think for me, the structure he did it made sense. Okay, that's it. That's all I know. But overall, I found the debate to be pretty unsatisfying.
I think this clip is older than a year, right? It looks like this might just be reposted, but yeah.
I guess the only thing else I'd say on that is like the example I use is my mentor JJ McCullough is a conservative. He is a center-right Canadian conservative. When he talks,
what are
to
they conservative about in Canada?
Oh, like just like less taxes and liberals are bad. But it's very like the Liberal Party and the Conservative Party historically have been very very close to each other ideologically, right? So it's like it's not a big deal. But like yes, he's center-right and he votes conservative, and he talks to Destiny who's center-left, more like a social democrat type. They like agree on everything because they're not threats to each other anymore. The threats are the edges now, and so that's kind of the example I would sort of use to illustrate that. Yeah, like Mitt Romney and Obama have a lot more in common with each other than AOC and Fuentes. So
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, that tracks. By the way, I don't know if you know this. Maybe you're. I guess I would be.
Destiny is not center left. LOL. I know, right? How is he center left?
Worried for your content in the future because every one of these political problems is being hashed out and figured out in my chat right now. The Socrateses of the world have debated everything, and I think figured it out. They've all put it together, and there are huge. Socrateses of the world have debated everything, and I think figured it out. They've all.
Oh, that's the guy said Destiny's far left.
All
Cute.
put it. Together, and there are huge paragraph length typing that no one else cares to read.
Never stop thinking and talking about politics. The more you do, the more it feeds me.
They've really truly solved it. Okay, here is the next one. The next group that you brought up was called the Balkanized Left, a reference to the Balkan states, which are all fractured and have a ton of infighting. So you've put different content creators' faces on missiles and jets and countries, and they are all just trying to kill each other. And I would love to hear more about this. How is this group doing right now? What's their growth?
Leftist infighting is nothing new. It's kind of like a meme. The characters I have on here, I'm sure you're familiar with Hasan and H3H3.
Yeah. Oh, my understanding is that there's a big holy war between Destiny, Hasan, and H3H3. That is my understanding.
Yes.
Okay.
Look, I don't know anything about Israel-Palestine. I get all my information about that through Hasan H3H3 drama. There's like, there's Hasan Moss and H3 Israel or something. I don't really know. I don't keep up with geopolitics.
No, yeah, it's not nearly as fun. Okay, so that's actually my understanding of this group. I don't even remember exactly what you said in the video. But my understanding of this group is it's a bunch of people who really care about streamer drama and are using geopolitics as a lens to constantly engage in that.
Yep. Where do I have an absolutely true button anywhere? Fuck.
Of course.
That's not really there. Fuck. That is true though.
They don't really care about geopolitical changes. That is a cover for a real deep care about the interpersonal streamer drama of a bunch of people. That is what it feels like to me. Because so much of the discussion is about the personalities of the people.
Right.
Although I will say that is largely because of this guy. Vosh has exited the political fighting reacting sphere basically completely. His Fortress arc was to divorce him entirely from all of this, which he's done successfully, and he streams now to a pretty good sized audience. I think anywhere from 5 to 10K viewers. And anytime I look, I don't know if he's live now. Okay, maybe he's not live now, but yeah, I think he does pretty good. He just doesn't associate with anybody, which is fine. It works for him. And then again, when Ethan's content nuke was made about Hasan, it was basically all focused on political views. I'm trying to think if there's anything personal in that. I don't know if he had included anything personal yet, maybe a little bit, but it was all about Hasan's unhinged personal views. Generally, my attacks about Hasan are all his unhinged personal views. Hasan is the one who is obsessed with amplifying the CPS calls on Ethan, or amplifying, now CPS calls, I guess, for my kid, or these unhinged, weird, creepy, perverted, pathetic personal attacks on either Ethan or me, or the family members or people around us.
It's very strange. It's like if you opened up a gossip magazine and then on page 7 there was like a horrible conflict.
You get the CPS streaming it? Yeah, they're retweeting, calling for the CPS stuff. I saw that. I don't know how normal this is. I feel like most of the not safe for work people that I know on Twitter, they all have safe for work accounts. You remember that cringy weirdo Merrick? She was retweeting my son saying oh, this kid is a Nazi from her porn account. Isn't that kind of weird? I feel like usually those worlds, they don't cross as much, but I don't know. Maybe she's into the pedophile market now or something. I feel like that's really strange.
There were tens of thousands of people being killed. Yeah, and it's this is content. Why is this? But and they're aware of this. And also on the more principled left, you'll have a lot of people who are I am using the drama slop content to inform people about Palestine, right? That's kind of the way that they do things. This thumbnail here is a little bit misleading, honestly, because Destiny and H3H3 are what I would call center left. Vosh is libertarian, very far libertarian left, a libertarian socialist who would be on the green quadrant. Hasan is arguably approaching.
That's decent. Yeah, this is true. What's he about to say about Hasan? Oh no.
The red, the authoritarian left, he's a much more of what you would call a tanky than.
Uh-oh. That works.
Than the rest of these guys. So they all have very fundamental ideological disagreements between them. But I just sort of use.
What? A what?
This to illustrate like.
Jesus. None of these people should have any political capital at all. Not a single one of them have provided anything meaningfully politically useful or idea or philosophy or movement.
All of these people would just define themselves as some sort of leftist or liberal.
Boss, what's a tanky? Hasan isn't that bad.
And H3's case probably.
No, he's not. Question mark.
Now he
question
probably.
mark. No, he's not.
Would
Omega law authoritarian. Authoritarian left. You don't know shit if you think Hasan is that.
So you just call himself like a liberal or a social democrat or something.
No, he isn't. Tanky. Question mark.
Something. These people.
Oh my god, this is like a civil war in his chat. Bosch is a one-issue voter, and his issue is legalizing sexual relationships with horses.
All hate each other. Every single one of these people hate each other. No, you can draw no positive line between any of these people. And part of this, I think, is because like when you're, being a political streamer, like man, that's.
This is kind of true, except I don't think me and Ethan hate each other. I don't hate Ethan. I don't think Ethan hates me.
That seems like it's real brain rot and really.
Oh yeah, probably the worst people in the world. If you talk about politics on stream, you are, I would say, scum. That's what I would say.
I mean, I've met a lot of political streamers. I've met a lot of these people, and yeah, it's like it rots your brain, and it sort of makes you really defensive and really aggressive. And
I don't think it has to. Just to make, I was making a joke on myself, my own expense, but I don't think it has to. I don't think it has to rot your brain. Maybe I do some political streaming. Is what I'm saying. And my brain is rotted, so I guess your correlation is very strong.
Like the issue is that. The issue is that just these people aren't that smart and aren't willing to do that much research. Vosh used to, although I think he's largely given up on that now unless he changed. Like Vosh used to have like a whole ass document about, where he would keep track of research and we would do debates and shit. Hasan is an idiot and he doesn't care to educate himself. He's doing something fundamentally different than politics. He wears politics as an aesthetic, but he's a slop streamer. That is what he does. But the issue is that like you can't even really blame these guys for doing it that way because that's kind of what, unfortunately, Trump has turned real world politics into. Like Trump is not like a politics guy. He's a drama slop guy. Like listen to what he talks about every single global, issue. It's all like drama slop. Like Putin's nice, he's cool. I don't want to be mean to him. These guys treat me well. I like them. I take phone calls from them. Like it's all like drama slop. Even real life politics has become fucking drama slop.
Wrong, but I don't know that it has to become so. Okay.
Well, I'm kind of curious because I think you're the only streamer I have met so far that I like. But that's probably, to be fair, I think that's probably just because every streamer I've met has been a political streamer, which is like only politics all the time, and it's very caustic. I'm curious what you do to like not rot your brain when you're talking about politics.
I skip a lot of streams. Very inactive.
Honestly, I think it's something about doing it all day, every day, 12 hours a day. I think
it definitely is the hour. The hours could definitely do it. You got to fill 8 hours versus 2.5 to 3. Then you have
I also think it's helpful that for Atrioc, I feel like Atrioc it's like his main isn't politics. Politics is just like a sub specialization, but his main is like I can't even say actually because I just don't ever watch his main channel. But it feels like he has a much broader base of things that he covers, and then politics is a thing he's been dipping into more and more. But he's not like 100% fixated on it like me or Hasan or anything else. So he avoids all of the most radical audience when it comes to politically related stuff, and then as a result of that, he avoids any like of the interpersonal drama cringe shit from a lot of these like the online politics people they are like the worst people, the weirdest and worst and cringiest. Ugh.
A lot more. I don't know. I don't want to. I really, honestly, I think one of the reasons that I don't brain rot is I don't comment on everyone else. So I don't want to do that. Actually, I don't want to get into talking about anybody else. I want to talk about my own thing.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah. Not to like. But I think the problem is the incentive structure is to do that as much as possible.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
No.
Okay. I would say that I think my viewership is doing pretty good, and I have never done. This is the first even toe in the water I've ever had to discussing another content creator. I don't think you have to do it that way. I think it's easy, and I think it gives you easy views quickly, but I don't think you have to do it.
Okay. I think that's wise words from what I can tell. Do you feel like you get that, or like do you have any questions?
Well, okay. What I would get, actually, as a group, it clearly really isn't a group. It's a bunch of splinter groups. But I think what you're saying is that all these people would characterize themselves as some form of left, and they're all kind of in the middle of a holy war to be the right version of the left that dominates the online discussion.
I think so. I talked about like right-wing infighting and the purity tests on the right, and it's racial and kind of like, are you a Fed? On the left, it's ideological. And so because it's ideological, there's a lot more opportunity for like very, very pure little nations to emerge that because you have a different opinion on, say, like a geopolitical issue, or if you're like, oh, we'll use capitalism as like a middle ground between socialism instead of just doing a communist revolution, or we want to use the state versus we want to make it more communally operated. All these things create lots of different divides in the left, and yeah, so that's probably why I would say the left is more prone to infighting, but the right still infights, and we see the right infight, and also
maybe it's human. We just love to infight.
We love infighting, and also you just tend to see infighting when a group gets power. Is like you see like a big liberal leftist coalition right now against Trump, right? Because they both hate Trump. If the liberal leftist coalition ever won, they'd kill each other, right?
Oh, for sure. That is a good point. That is a really good point. Yeah. I do think Trump is a uniter of his opposition in a way that he's united different groups on his side. Okay, the last group. This is this is the scariest one, but also the funniest one. And this is the horseshoe. And you have pictured Thomas Crooks, who was the guy, Thomas Crooks, who attempted to assassinate Trump and had extremely confusing politics, which was that I think he...
What is this?
You're abandoned at birth, you're a person of color in America, you're a queer person in a Mormon community. Are there any other struggles you faced in life?
This is not real. This is a troll meme thing.
Everyone on planet Earth, stop killing. And if we do, that will benefit everyone. And it's really easy to understand that law. And it's obviously a natural positive law. Obviously, killing is is the most negative action we can do for any reason.
Really, though?
You know what I mean? So everyone, for 1 year, let's stop killing everyone. No more wars. War's gone instantly then, bro. Probably famine will go instantly then as well. And not just everyone, everything. Let's just stop killing everything for a while and see how that feels. Let's just experiment with it. If it doesn't feel good and do good things, let's just get back to it. But within a year of nobody killing anything, bro, that's world peace, bro. That's the start of world peace. So I'm not embodying anything that's got anything to do. I protect nature, bro. Every single bit of it.
Wow. Even bugs?
Пачка здесь. Ждем.
Of course. Oh my God. Stop!
Our hopes and what preoccupies us. Democracy is under attack right now. Minority rights are being violated, and the world is becoming increasingly interconnected. So games are a powerful medium for addressing these issues, and they have the potential to inspire change.
A staff member said gay. Why?
Gay. Not only are many people in the global games industry engaging in projects like this,
Okay.
also more and more institutions like the European Commission or the United Nations.
A very important message. Thank you so much, Jörg. And of course, thank you to all of the dedicated developers around the world who put so much heart and soul into those games, making the world a little...
Tariff explained for gamers.
A video on the tariffs
I'm excited to see Clear try his best.
that makes sense in like gaming terms. That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean,
that makes sense.
I mean, it's big, you know.
They threw a 10k gold lead.
Wait, what?
Does anyone have a video on the tariffs
I'm excited to see Clear try his best.
that makes sense in like gaming?
Oh, was that was the joke? Okay. France launches investigation into kick streamer Jean Pomenouve's mistreatment and death. What happened? I'm French. We can't stop talking about how stupid people are to watch this. I watch this live sometimes, and he was making me sad how bad he was treated. This guy had a very poor life. His community never was good to him. They kept insulting him, his mom, his sick father. his dead dog. They used TTS donations, people were abusing it. The two main co-streamers always laughed at the harassment, and he was obviously manipulated by them. I hope he'll rest in peace because this guy had a very hard life. Jesus. What? The title of this thread is honestly not reasonable for what truly happened here. Never thought I'd witness someone actually being tortured for entertainment on a live stream. Wait, the fuck? Hijacking to bring more info and so people can see the insanity of the situation and of what was being streamed for years. First on Twitch, then rapidly on the biggest French Kick channel, and yet no one, including Kick or police, did anything. And that, yes, Pormenove most likely died due to a streaming marathon. This streaming marathon, sleep deprivation, and physical abuse from co-streamers and complications from his heart problems. Here's a recap with video evidence. No corpse or death pictured, but upsetting physical and psychological abuse. Be careful. He died during a 10-day streaming marathon in which they couldn't stop streaming until finishing a game while being woken up constantly by various horrible methods despite his hard problems. Method seen here. Okay, wait, hold on. How long can you stay awake until you die? I don't think I'm making this up, right? Like I'm not trying to exaggerate like some people, but I feel like there's like if you have there's a medical condition related to insomnia where you just can't sleep. And like when you get this, like I think you die in like a week. Like you have to sleep to survive, and the amount of time you can go while getting zero sleep is like surprisingly short. This is saying the record is 11 days or something, but Jesus. Okay. Okay, I get the point. Okay. He was progressively physically and mentally abused for years by his co-streamers Owen and Safine and others. Humiliations, strangulations, beaten, shot at with paintball guns, etc. Examples 1. I'm going to be honest. Like, unless this guy was like mentally retarded, like he's an adult, he could just say no. Or unless this guy was literally like a homeless dude they brought in off the street, or he's like some guy trying to pay for his mom's cancer treatment. Like, unless the guy was retarded, I don't know what the...
Des poupées.
Yeah.
Genre là. Allez, arrête, va mourir. Arrête, ça fait Arrête. Oui, oui. Ah, il me prend, putain. Arrête, il va mourir. Arrête, il va mourir.
I don't know what they're saying.
Il est en train de faire le record. Regarde, putain. Ah, voilà, lâche, putain, enculé.
This is kind of weird. Okay, this looks like a fucking execution video. What is this all being streamed on Kick? Probably not good. Streaming themselves purposely driving 50 miles per hour over speed bumps with him on the trunk of their car? Wait, not this. Jesus. Do you see any of Merc's antics from last night? No. Oh wait, it was this.
JP. Ah mais ça filme, pourquoi il parle pas JP? Il crie pas? À 80.
Okay. Isn't this just essentially the same thing as Jackass? Maybe, but I feel like on TV it doesn't feel as bad because they're all like professionals, hopefully, who are getting highly compensated and who are a lot more aware of the risks of everything. Hopefully, I guess. Whereas this feels a lot more like a bunch of random people are just torturing each other on stream for... I also feel like they're... I feel like there's a difference too in that... I want to be careful because I haven't watched much Jackass. I don't like Jackass. Like what I've watched is just not my kind of humor. But I feel like they try to make it funny, generally, right? Like it's not usually just like we're gonna choke this guy and scream at him for 10 minutes, you know? Like it's usually supposed to be somewhat humorous. I think it would also be different if, like for this, and I can't tell because I'm getting presented obviously one side of the story from this guy. Is this guy, is he always on the receiving end of the torture stuff? Or is it like, are all of these guys fucking with each other constantly? Because that's also something I think that would change it. Because in Jackass, weren't all of them kind of like trading places, being harassed and shit? If it's just one guy over and over again, that also makes it feel a lot different. Oh my god, I've seen this. This is one of the... Wait, have I seen... Is this the giant hand?
What's up, nerd?
Okay, so like, yeah, it's just a guy getting hit, but it's like, it's set up to be funny, right? Or it's supposed to be? Jesus.
Dude, you played it off so good. He's like, hey, what's up, dog?
Reset. Aaron's walking in, and we're going to have him bring in a whole tray full of soup.
Drop it in there.
He's not going to. What? I don't think he's going to go for it.
Oh, Jesus.
What up, Aaron?
What's up, dude?
Yeah, dude. Help us crowd, brother.
Okay. After 10 days of a streaming/bullying marathon, viewers sent donations to wake up his co-streamers because Pormanov, I don't know how to pronounce his name actually, had stopped moving for a while. The co-streamer's first reaction was to throw a bottle on his face and then slap his body. Why is there so much footage? Because this happened for years, initially on Twitch, and then it was on the biggest French kick channel with 190k followers from around 20k viewers. The more unhinged they grew, the more money they made. Donations encouraged the bullying, creating a vicious cycle. Was the guy getting paid a lot of money as well, or? Destiny, context from a French person. It wasn't like Jackass. It was two normal people that recruited two mentally ill people to abuse them. They had control over where they lived and their income. They threatened to kick him out if he didn't come back on stream. If that's true, that's really fucked up. I don't trust anything else to dig into myself. But like, if that's true, that's pretty fucked up. Well, not pretty fucked up. That would be really fucked up. Here, they hit him while he understandably shouts at them that he has to take his medication.
Voilà, niquer ta mère, va te faire enculer. J'en ai marre de me faire traiter chaque fois. J'en ai marre, va niquer tes morts. Voilà, va niquer tes morts. C'est bon, vous savez que traiter. Va, ta mère la pute. Va, ton père en grâce de fils de pute. Ouais, JP, va te faire enculer. Ouais, JP, c'est un chien. J'en ai marre. C'est niquer vos morts. Putain, j'en ai marre. Pas le droit, arrête. Décolle, tu veux tricher? Tu veux tricher? T'as vu comme t'as triché, t'as le pute? T'as pas le droit, ta gueule, je te dis. Tu m'as tapé ta mère la pute. J'ai des médicaments.
Prior to streaming, he used to live with his 70-year-old mother and was unemployed. He was spotted raging while streaming Fortnite by Owen, who offered him to come and stream with him and Safine. The bullying started progressively, the content being trying to get a reaction out of him, and it became more and more intense the more attention they got and the more money they made. Whenever he had enough and wanted to stop a challenge, they would threaten to evict him from the flat he lived in, owned by Owen, or saying they saved him and they do something without them, or tell him he's not man enough, or sometimes prevent him physically from leaving. They would also dangle streaming income as means of achieving his dream of having a wife and children over years of loneliness. Jesus Christ. Pormanov's mother, 70 years old, was often calling him on stream to beg his son to leave after humiliations while his co-streamers made fun of it. They would also call her homeless. The last words to his mom via text were, "Hey mom, how are you? I'm completely stuck with his game. It's going too far. I feel like I'm being held hostage with their shit concept. I'm sick of it. I want to leave, but he does not want me. He does not want to let me. He keeps me from leaving. He is sequestrating me." How do we know that? Because Owen snatched his phone and read all of his texts with his mother aloud to chat while mocking him. In January 2025, Owen and Safine were in police custody for suspicion of abuse of people with disabilities, as another person abused by them on stream is Kodua, a disabled person. It's unclear from the press articles if Pormanov had a disability himself or not, but he was definitely a very vulnerable person. Jesus. These guys might be fucked. Yeah, it sounds like an actual Black Mirror episode. What is this? Oh no, we like these ladies, didn't we? Oh God, more mask on appearances?
For the ethnocentric American voter, you can take the big message that you just took, the right moral message, to a deep thinker who wants to absorb that and understand the human rights issues and violations pertaining to it. But to the selfish, me, capitalist, I'm so important American, these Democrats have to take the message that you, and it's not as pure as maybe the leftists want, but it's effective. And they have to take a message that says, you don't have health care, but everybody in Israel does. You can't access a college and without massive debt, but everybody in Israel can. Oh, and by the way, all those kids that you're seeing dead that Miss Rachel, the YouTuber, is showing you, you're paying for that, and our politicians go ahead and autograph the bombs before they send them over. For the
One time we took panties from my buddy's mom's room, gave them to him, and said they belonged to this hot chick from school. He sniffed them and rubbed them on his face. He didn't believe us when we told him they were his mom's. Why are you donating this? Are you okay, bro? Jesus. Why would you donate that? Stop.
Hard. Schmuck.
I think he was also saying you were begging for a kick contract when they started, which is the most brain dead revision of events I've ever heard.
Hasan, on my mom and dad's life you were. And don't do that. Because I can't throw certain people under the bus and everyone believes me. I have no reason to lie. I expose and I talk the real about everything. I don't give a fuck. I got no reason to lie. All my life you were entertaining this contract about coming to kick in the beginning.
Well, those are two very different things. Begging for a contract and entertaining the idea of one. I seriously doubt Hasan would ever go to kick, though. The audience loss would be way too much for him to endure. He would never do it. Even if he was paid a lot for it, I don't think he would do it.
Don't lie. Don't do that. And guess what? You would have taken the crypto money from Stake. So you don't even make any fucking sense. You suck. You suck. How does this retard have a fucking audience? Like, I'm not even joking. Yo, bro, he's banned in Turkey. It makes sense. Let's ban him from America. Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Yo, he is literally a terrorist. Yo, bro, please can we ban him from America? Yo, bro, I will get a poll sign. I guarantee everyone will sign it. He sucks. He sucks. Let's deport Hasan. Hashtag deport Hasan. Oh my God, bro, please. Bro, if I see Trump, I'm actually asking him. I don't.
Wait, what?
Ban him from America. Yo, bro, yo, I ain't gonna lie. Yo, he is literally a terrorist. Yo, bro, please can we ban him from America? Yo, bro, I will get a poll sign. I guarantee everyone will sign it. He sucks. He sucks. Let's deport Hasan. Hashtag deport Hasan. Oh my God, bro, please. Bro, if I see Trump, I'm actually asking him. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Yo, bro, I'm gonna bring it up. I don't care. Yo, chat. Am I getting a little bit too far? All right, next.
Okay. Oh, we saw this. Don't care. Don't care. Boom. Trailer. Is this an anime trailer for a game, or is it Crunchyroll? So this is just an anime they're releasing? Oh my God. Wait, is it just an anime of the video game? Oh shit. Check out the argument? Yeah, we watched the trailer yesterday. Did you play Sekiro? Of course. I crushed it. Big announcement coming later today from Anissa. Creator Clash 4. Oh no.
This episode of
Boom.
That's crazy, chat.
One of my friends.
Hold on.
I've Had It is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. Every time I use Booking.com to find a place to stay in the U.S.
Smart.
Yeah.
I've got a MAGA listener.
Oh, good.
Ready for
Doctor. Learn more. It's an easy layup right now to take down MAGA, to say MAGA isn't America first. They are clearly Israel first. Moses Mike Johnson packed up his toys because he didn't want his base to find out that Trump is in the
Moses Mike Johnson?
middle of a pedophile ring, and he went immediately to his home district of Israel. They are Israel first.
Yeah.
And so I was waiting for the Democrats to say this. And they can't say it because they're beholden to the same people that Moses Mike Johnson is. So when the only bipartisanship that you see in Congress right now is support for killing marginalized Palestinians and starving them out, that's a huge problem for the Democratic Party. And I mean, here's the thing, and the Democrats are being really stupid about this. I played a clip yesterday, Hasan, of Marjorie Taylor Greene bashing Israel and talking about an economic populist message, like Americans are sick of funding wars, they're sick of not having health care. And I just said, she's a nut. She's clearly anti-Semitic, all this stuff. But I said, when you consume news, you're a middle information viewer, and you just see those clips, the Democrats are leaving us vulnerable to more fascism, to more conservatism, to more Christian nationalism by not taking the lead on this, and it enrages me.
Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene should not be the leading voice on this. Like, right. She should not be outflanking any Democrat on this issue whatsoever.
I think that's like the number one brain rot thing is like when you hear like they're getting outflanked on the left by the Republicans. It shows such a simplistic understanding of the political landscape right now. You're getting outflanked, bro.
However, the Democrats are leaving a massive they're leaving this space and discourse completely void, and it's allowed Republicans to basically capture this issue because they recognize, at least some of these Republicans recognize, that this is a way to communicate earnesty, because it's a 92 to 8% issue at this point in the Democratic Party's base of support. The majority of Republicans don't even support Israel as they once did. You got basically just a base of evangelical Christians who are evangelical Zionists, who are some of the most rabid supporters of Israel. American Jews don't even fuck with Israel like that anymore, and the Democrats are still seemingly leaving this conversation out there for the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene to take advantage of, to make themselves seem like they're earnest and not grifters.
Totally. And she's a total grifter. But, we've been keeping an eye on her, and she has been hanging out with Steve Bannon a lot. And they're nuts. But Steve Bannon has good political instincts, and he always returns to an economic populist message. Now, does he want to deliver that populism once he gets power? Fuck no. Absolutely not. But he knows that he can use it to lure them in. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's figured out how to game the stock system. She's made her money. And I think she is starting to realize that Trump's 95. He's got cankle.
Okay. All right. This is the weird issue he uses to ingratiate himself, I guess, with liberals. What is this?
One of my friends who I've been talking to, I've had a tumultuous past couple of days.
Oh my God, he's such a baby. When he says tumultuous, he just means he doesn't like getting hate from a lot of different communities, by the way. He's going to say it's like because of death threats and stuff, but it's just he just doesn't like being hated across a multitude of communities. He can't handle the pushback.
I've gotten vicious smears and attacks, and they've only escalated in the aftermath of positive media coverage and things of that nature. But there was one piece of really, really, really good news that took place that reminded me that it's all worth it at the end of the day.
I was like 20% in favor of thinking about like our next research thing. We should just do like a couple hours a day just looking up Hasan's like family, not like in a doxing weirdo way, but like in a how true is it? Because I keep hearing these claims that like his mom is like a huge commercial real estate manager, and that his dad is like the founder of or a co-founder of like a far right party in Turkey, and has managed like hundreds of millions of dollars or had as much. I don't know. If you're gonna start like retweeting and quote tweeting stuff about like my revenge porn or about my son, I kind of feel like it's fair game at this point. I don't know.
And that is that one of my friends, I'm not going to reveal who, but one of my friends out of Gaza, and don't ask me who it is, has made it out of Gaza.
One of my friends out of Gaza.
And he's in the United States of America. And I'm, I was like tearing up when I saw that. He hit me up. He told me like, I finally made it to America. And like any kind of impact that you can have in even.
Shouldn't you be sad then? Because doesn't that mean your friend was ethnically cleansed? Or so it is good when some people escape Gaza? Or
one person's life like that is so important, so consequential, and such a
what is he saying right now? Wait, hold on, what?
And don't ask me who it is. Reminded me that it's all worth it at the end of the day, and that is that one of my friends, I'm not going to reveal who, but one of my friends out of Gaza, and don't ask me who it is, has made it out of Gaza, and he's in the United States of America. And I'm, I was like tearing up when I saw that. He hit me up. He told me like, I finally made it to America, and like any kind of impact that you can have in even one person's life like that is.
What is the impact? What's he say? What is he claiming that like his friend escaped Gaza because of Hasan's streams, or what? I don't understand what he's saying here. What
is so important, so consequential, and such a good thing,
What is he talking about? I don't get it.
Just, it makes everything, it makes it all worth it. It's shit like that. That's what really matters.
You did that?
Especially as like the American government is now looking at ways of reversing visa programs and things like that. It's just so.
You did that? Question mark, question mark. How can we make that happen for more people? W of the week. Have him on. That makes it all fucking worth it. How did he... How does such a thing even happen?
So fucking frustrating. So, you know. Hey, brother, you've changed my whole worldview thanks to your analysis. I've gone from being pro-Israel to pro-Palestine. I've used your arguments to change my whole family's opinion too. You do good work. Don't stop. Yep. Yeah, this is why I do it. And this is why you should also. If there's one thing, if there's one
Wait, what did he do? Wait, what did he do? Is he going to say it? What?
If there's one takeaway from the way I operate, if you get one takeaway from the way I operate and, like, you know, follow my example, if you will, that should be to maintain charity and to constantly keep pushing, constantly try to make change in the world. Change your friends' attitudes, change your family's attitudes. Don't get discouraged, and you know, make a dent in your own communities. That's it. I know it's
God damn. Like, I get Hamas using Palestinians as human shields, but now Hasan is trying to use them as human shields. What is he going to put this dude up in the background? Like, Gazan Palestinian currently on screen. Know that if someone is attacking me, they're also attacking this Palestinian, this brave Palestinian warrior from Gaza.
Get tough. It's easy to feel discouraged and nihilistic and look for more appropriate targets that will be the recipient of your anger and resentment. But eventually you just have to let it go and just keep pushing. That's what I've been doing this whole time, and I urge you all to do the same. You know, take on the emotional labor if you can.
Of doing what?
And maintain revolutionary optimism.
Revolutionary.
If you can't maintain revolutionary optimism because you look at how things have moved in the positive direction over the course of decades, then you can maintain revolutionary optimism and not succumb to nihilism out of pure spite for the enemy. Okay? Because some of the worst people on the planet would love for you and me to shut the fuck up and to just go away and to show our bellies and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. That's what keeps me going. It feeds into it feeds into my ambitions.
Chat, is anyone able to clip this little pep talk? I'm really going through it, and this is great.
Okay. What do you say to people who are too afraid to go to protests? Protests are amazing.
Wait, is he not going to say what he did? So what is the implication? Did he help this guy get out somehow, or how? What did he do? Can I just name random good things in life and just say that it's because of me? Like, I'm sure there's some old guy who beat his cancer recently at the fucking Miami hospital or whatever, right? Wait, what the fuck?
Solidarity, like experiencing solidarity, being surrounded by like-minded people with a singular goal in mind, is the closest expression to love that you experience.
How is this not some freaky, weird, like, Big Brother culty shit? Jesus, what the fuck?
100%. When I go out and I attend protests internationally, when I go to other countries and go to protests, or when I go to other countries and, like, talk to political leaders in other countries and people who are like-minded, I'm reminded of that solidarity. And it is the closest thing I've ever felt to an expression of love. Just being around people who get it.
How do you think Valkyrie feels hearing that? What, have you ever had, like, a girlfriend before? Or don't you have a brother? Or, Jesus. That's just really fucking weird, but okay.
It is incredible. It gives you so much confidence. It restores your faith in humanity. It's an amazing experience, and I highly recommend it. Anyway, now let's get to Vladimir Putin. Okay?
steps in the push to end this war in Ukraine. The White House says President Trump again spoke with Russia's Vladimir Putin yesterday, and what the Kremlin says was a 40-minute phone call. Now, that came after UK.
Okay, I don't even know. All right. I think the implication is that he helped the Gaza guy escape. How? Okay.